Well, parking and the roads and how we use them seem to be a big subject at the moment, a big bone of contention, and particularly things like ULEZ, congestion charges and all that sort of thing. Well, one of the things that crops up from time to time is these cowboy parking firms, as I like to call them, and what they seem to be getting away with. I did a video yesterday on a lady that took her kids out to McDonald's and ended up getting more than she bargained for. Well, there were some comments on this video and I want to go through a few of them just so you can see the different points of view. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing alright. I'm not too bad, not too bad. Let me know how you are in the comments and that you've got a good day planned. That's the main thing. Well, lady goes to McDonald's with her kids, eats cheeseburger, chips and McFlurry and whatever else they had, goes, not thinking anything about it, and then gets a fine in the post, which has suddenly gravitated up to 170 quid. Okay. I have my point of view. I think these people need closing down with the millions of pounds worth of fines they've issued over the last 6 months at least. I think they are serial litigators, all of them, and many people do not know how to deal with them, or are very submissive and think, oh, hang on a minute, we can't deal with them. They are what they are, and we need to abide. Crap, in my opinion, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Let's have a look at yours, shall we? I'll read out some of these comments on it, and we'll treat this as the comment read-through. First one, M. Robbo, these companies can't fine you. Only courts can fine you. It's very true. Very, very true. These companies and the councils can only issue a penalty. It's a big difference. Look it up. Also true. Now, there's another difference. You have a penalty which a council issues, which is a little bit more of a bugger than these private parking firms, or you have a penalty charge notice. Now, a penalty charge notice which these private parking firms issue is nothing more than an invoice for payment of something that you just don't agree with. So the knowledge is out there. Look it up. Look at my live that I did on Sunday where I mentioned this, and a good resource to look up how to deal with it. Thank you. Busyboy42, the reality is, like it or not, all parks have terms and conditions, with most other or not time limits. Read the signs, comply, and no fine. You're correct. They do have terms and conditions, and they're relying on the fact that you're ignorant enough to comply with them, and then they will fine you and come after you if you slip up. I think when you go to places, and we need to be very aware that a lot of these areas, like fast food restaurants, hotels, shops, restaurants, hotel, car parks, airport, they all have terms and conditions, which we need to make sure we do abide by before we walk off from our vehicle. And in that way as well, you're penalising them because they're not going to get their pockets filled with silver when you slip up. That's how they make their money. Nick B. Hello, Nick. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing indeed. Yeah, that's true. It's always best to seek legal advice when dealing with this stuff because the pitfalls are many. The I don't agree scenario is a case in point. By entering the car park and parking there and purchasing the required ticket will imply that you accept their terms and conditions, and you will have subsequently entered into a contract with them. No amount of I don't agree can save you because you agreed by parking there. Ignorance of the law or the rules is never accepted as a defence. Ultimately, the responsibility for not overstaying lies with the driver. It's that simple. Having said that, I do believe that companies involved should be a little more flexible in dealing with minor infractions, but given they are solely in the business of making money, that is almost certainly a forlorn hope. Totally agree with you there, sir. In short, the best way to deal with this is either to not use their car parks or to make damn sure you leave before your time is up. There has to be some personal responsibility here, and no, I do not operate one of these places. I'm just a frustrated pedestrian who think car drivers have a tendency to indulge in frequent blame shifting. Certain ones do, I'm sure. Yeah. If you go up and there's a ticket and you pull it out and you enter the car park, I can see the argument that you're making there. But a lot of these places do not have any barriers. They don't have any car parking ticket machines. It's an Asda's, it's a Sainsbury's, it's a Tesco's. I've seen some of them where you go there and do the shopping. There's a tiny little square sign about 300 yards down the road from where you've entered, and you might go and park that way. This is where a lot of people are getting caught out, and this is where people need to be aware. Yes, a lot of knowledge is a dangerous thing. You could turn around and say, oh, I didn't know that, and that is no defence at all. That is why you have to layer upon layer of asking, of proof, of requests for evidence. That's where it comes in. And at the end of the day as well, it's the registered keeper of the vehicle that's liable, unless or until proven otherwise. Archie. Exactly the same thing happened this year at McDonald's in Brisbane, Australia. Oh, okay. After a birthday party, a lady received a huge fine from a parking company, made the news. The Queensland government told the company only the government can issue fines, and to Foxtrot Oscar, the company closed down and went out of business. I think we either need to take that tack, or we need to take the tack of just make sure we do what the sign says and get out, because at the end of the day, if they have a drop in revenue from people that are actually not playing their game, they will get out. Here's another one. Is it Noma? DVLA should be held to account for releasing registered keeper information without consent. I've tried this argument before, and I've quoted data protection, but what they do, they pull something called a legitimate interest reason, as in they have a legitimate interest to share your data. So it is a grey area. I'd love someone to take that to court and try it and try and set a precedent. I really would. It's Clint One. I love that name. You do not have to pay private parking firms, because the court will only give the firms the amount of the overstay, which is pennies. Ergo, no court. Exactly. John B agrees with another person. Spot on. No contract. It's an implied contract. This is the whole thing. Steve Zodiac. Exactly the same thing happened to my daughter at McDonald's. After unknowingly staying longer than 90 minutes chatting to a friend she hadn't seen for years, whilst at the time consuming McDonald's products. The parking companies are vultures. Yes, but the real blame lies with McDonald's. McDonald's business model is to buy a small plot of land and exploit it to the max. By keeping the throughput at a maximum all the time to maximise profits, people who overstay are bunging up the system and reducing their profit. In McDonald's opinion, they want you to buy their food, then fuck off. It can be summed up in one word: greed. That's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And the last one was my mum, who was in the live on Sunday. She turned around and said she went to a local Aldi's and spent 90 quid in there, come away, and then she got a fine for nearly the equivalent amount a few days later. And what she did, she contacted Aldi's, the landowner, and they got the ticket cancelled. That's another way of doing it. Anyway, that's a few readouts of some of your opinions. Thank you very much. I value your opinions always, and it's great to see the different opinions, the different cross-section of comments on here. Always, I love it. Anyway, thank you for your support. Thank you for the community, and I'll see you on the next one. Toodaloo.